your body and mind will always adjust to more suffering, to more pain. If you want to push harder, know this. Your mind quits way before your body does. So you have to be willing to go way into that darkness and find more of yourself. Stay hard.
All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the life of David Goggins.
Oh, yeah.
One of, if not the toughest human beings on this planet.
Absolutely.
This guy's a retired Navy SEAL, ultra-marathon runner,
Man.
just all-around badass.
Yeah, all around badass is a good way to put it.
So we're going to be going through some excerpts from his book, trying to figure out, what made him who he is, what kind of adversity did he have to overcome, and what kind of lessons we can all learn from him.
You know what I think is really fascinating about Goggins is that his story goes way beyond just physical strength.
Right.
It really gets you thinking about, like, the power of the mind.
Totally.
To overcome, like, some brutal circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with his childhood, shall we?
Okay.
I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It was.
Poverty, abuse from his father, Trinus.
Yeah, it was a seriously harsh reality, Yeah. He talks about working all night, like at his father's roller rink.
Oh, well.
Even having to fish, like tampons out of the toilets.
God.
Yeah, you can imagine. And then, he witnessed his dad's infidelity firsthand, got dragged along to these gambling trips when he should have been at, like, Cub Scout meetings.
Jeez.
He even describes being spat on in the car by his own father.
How do you even come back from that?
I know, right?
Like, how do you not be totally scarred?
It's incredible. But, what's interesting is that all this trauma, it kind of fueled Goggins' drive in a way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it created this, like, deep-seated need in him to prove himself,
Right.
To rise above the pain and build a completely different life.
Yeah. So it's almost like these early years, it's like they forged his mental toughness,
Oh, absolutely.
in the fight. Yeah.
Forged in fire.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing from there, was it?
No.
Yeah,
some early struggles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goggins, he had some academic struggles, early on, and he even failed the ASVAB on his first try.
Wait, the ASVAB, that's the military entrance exam, right?
Yeah, the military entrance exam.
This is a guy who becomes a Navy SEAL.
I know.
And he can't pass a basic military test.
Yeah, it's, I think it just shows that, like, at that point, he just didn't have direction.
Right.
Like, no real clear purpose.
Okay.
But then two things happened.
Okay.
First, he got this letter showing how bad his grades actually were.
Oh.
And second, he realized that he needed to get a decent ASVAB score.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, like, join the Air Force.
Okay, so like a double whammy wake-up call?
Huge wake-up call, yeah. And that's when you start to see, like, his defiance and his resourcefulness kind of come out,
Okay, so what did he do?
He actually got those Fs changed to Bs on his transcript.
Wait, he got his grades changed?
Yeah, like, he had this early instinct to like, take control and, like, shape his circumstances to get what he wanted.
So he was a hustler, even back then.
Yeah, hustler from the beginning.
Wow. So even when he was struggling, he had this spark of ambition burning.
Oh, yeah, and that spark turned into a raging fire when he decided to become a Navy SEAL.
That's right. This is where it gets interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So he sets his sights on becoming a SEAL, and we all know how incredibly grueling BUDS training is.
Grueling's an understatement.
What kind of impact did that have on him?
I mean, it was a complete gauntlet.
Okay.
Physically and mentally, sleep deprivation, constant physical exertion, intense psychological pressure.
Right.
And he went through it all.
Yeah.
He even talks about his experience during Hell Week.
Oh, wow.
Which is legendary for its difficulty.
And to make it even more intense,
yeah,
he was training alongside some pretty notable figures.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle, the future American sniper.
Yeah, what an environment to be in, huh?
I know, right?
Surrounded by all these, like, super high achievers. Just pushing yourself to the limit.
But, it's not just about the physical push, right?
Right.
There's this whole mental game.
Yeah, for sure.
That's at play, too.
Yeah.
And Goggins talks about the instructor's methods, particularly this one guy nicknamed Psycho Pete.
Oh, God.
Their tactics were extreme.
Yeah.
Designed to break recruits down
and
reveal their true character.
Mm.
They wanted to see who had the mental fortitude to actually make it.
Yeah, yeah. So he's in this pressure cooker,
Oh, yeah.
pushing himself to the limit.
Totally.
But he's also building connections with the other SEAL candidates too, right?
Yeah, his drive and determination, it was off the charts,
Right.
But he wasn't a lone wolf through all of this.
Okay.
He talks about Sean Diab's fellow SEAL candidate, and their relationship started as this like intense rivalry. They were both incredibly driven, competitive.
I mean, put two alpha males like that in a pressure cooker.
I know.
Sparks are going to fly.
Sparks are going to fly, exactly.
Did it stay that way throughout training?
Well, what's fascinating is that their rivalry actually transformed into this like strong camaraderie,
Really?
Yeah, they realized they were both fighting for the same goal, pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
Right.
And that shared commitment really created like a real bond between them.
So they found common ground.
Common ground.
In their shared suffering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, this actually highlights, I think, a really key element of Goggins' philosophy.
Okay.
It's this idea of embracing discomfort.
Okay.
He believes that pushing past your limits is where true growth actually happens.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
But I know Goggins also had a hard time connecting with his first platoon.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
Goggins attributes that struggle to his background, Remember, like, he came from poverty.
Right.
He didn't have the same, like, privileged upbringing as many of his fellow SEALs,
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of an outsider, even within this elite group.
Wow. So his background and his intensity and his unconventional approach, I guess, it created some friction.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then he goes on to excel in Army Ranger School.
That's right.
Which is, I mean, that's a totally different environment, right?
It is, and it's so interesting how much Goggins thrived there.
Okay.
Like, he found the egalitarian nature of Ranger School, where rank and background mattered less.
Right.
To be like incredibly liberating,
Yeah.
And his leadership skills really shone through.
Okay, so it seems like he needed a specific kind of environment
to
really flourish, a place that embraced his intensity. And it seems like Ranger School really provided that for him.
Absolutely.
But even with his success in Ranger School, there were still some bumps in the road, right?
Yeah, there were.
His time with his 2nd SEAL platoon was a lot more complex, wasn't it?
It was. While he continued to like excel physically,
right,
he again struggled to connect with his teammates.
Okay.
And this time it stemmed from like his disappointment with the platoon's kind of like more relaxed attitude towards training,
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this is a guy who like thrives on pushing limits.
Right.
And he found it difficult to lead a group that wasn't as intensely driven as he was.
So he's facing this like internal conflict.
Yeah.
Like he wants to push himself, but he also wants to lead effectively. And those two things just weren't aligning for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is also around the time when, he was aiming to join DVGU.
Right. SEAL Team 6.
SEAL Team 6, the elite of the elite, right?
Yeah.
But he faced some setbacks in that pursuit.
Okay.
And he even hints at the possibility that like racial prejudice played a role,
Wow.
It's a much more complex picture than just Goggins, the superhuman, conquering every challenge.
Right.
There were internal struggles, external barriers.
Yeah.
Possibly even systemic issues at play.
Right. So it wasn't just this like straightforward path to success.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's these complexities that make his story so compelling, and so relatable, It's not just about physical feats.
Right.
It's about, confronting your limitations, pushing boundaries, and navigating the messy realities of life.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of this while dealing with a serious heart condition.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're going to get into next.
That's right. And those setbacks, they took a serious turn when Goggins was diagnosed with a heart condition.
Oh, wow.
A hole in his heart, actually.
Oh, that's a major blow, especially after fighting so hard to achieve his goals.
Totally.
I can't imagine what that must have felt like for him.
It was a defining moment for sure,
Yeah.
A lot of people would have just given up,
right,
facing something like that.
Right.
But Goggins he isn't wired that way.
Yeah.
He refused to let this diagnosis define him.
So how did he bounce back from something so serious?
It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
His resilience is just, it's off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
He got recertified as an EMT.
Okay.
started training for ultra marathons,
Wow.
and get this, he even returned to active duty.
Wait, hold on. He went back to active duty with a heart condition?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know, right?
What was driving him at that point?
It just shows you like the sheer willpower of this guy.
Yeah.
And how much he refuses to be limited by his circumstances.
Yeah.
You know. But there's another turning point during this time.
Okay.
That's really key to understanding Goggins.
Okay.
He discovered the importance of stretching.
Stretching. Really? That
Yeah.
seems almost too simple to be a game changer.
I know it's easy to overlook the basics, right?
Yeah.
But Goggins developed this like seriously intense stretching routine,
Okay.
and it transformed not just his physical health,
Okay.
but also his mental well-being.
Interesting.
Yeah, he talks about how it allowed him to push himself further than he ever thought possible.
So by addressing this like fundamental
Yeah.
physical need, he unlocked this whole new level of performance.
Exactly.
That's a pretty incredible lesson right there,
It is.
for all of us.
Yeah, it reminds us that, sometimes the most powerful solutions
Yeah.
are the ones that we tend to overlook,
Right, right.
Goggins' story teaches us to pay attention to the fundamentals,
Yeah.
and address the root cause of problems
Yeah.
instead of just treating the symptoms.
That's gold, man. That's gold.
Yeah.
But Goggins didn't stop there, right?
No, he didn't.
He continued pushing boundaries after leaving the military.
Right. His post-military life is like another chapter of defying expectations,
Okay.
His achievements are just, they're mind-blowing.
Like what? Give me some examples.
He broke the pull-up world record
Shut up.
live on the Today Show.
No way.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like the pressure.
Oh my God.
He also became a wildland firefighter,
Wow.
battling these blazes in some of the most unforgiving environments. And of course he kept running those ultra marathons.
So it's like the military was just like a training ground.
Yeah.
For everything else he wanted to accomplish.
Well,
He took those lessons of discipline, mental toughness,
Yeah.
and applied them to all these new pursuits.
Exactly. And a lot of his success, I think, stems from his philosophy of starting at zero.
Okay, break that down for me.
Okay.
What exactly does Goggins mean by starting at zero?
It's about constantly seeking new challenges.
Yeah. Okay.
And refusing to become complacent.
Right.
Every single day is a fresh start.
Yeah.
An opportunity to push past your comfort zone and strive for something more.
Right.
It's about not letting your past successes or failures define you.
Right.
You can always reset and go after what you want.
So it's like this continuous cycle of setting new goals, tackling obstacles,
Yep.
and refusing to settle.
Exactly.
So it's about growth, not just achievement.
Precisely. It's embracing the journey of becoming the best version of yourself
Okay.
rather than just obsessing over a specific outcome.
Yeah, right.
You're not just trying to reach a destination.
Right.
You're constantly evolving,
Yeah.
and testing your limits.
That's a pretty powerful way to look at things.
Yeah.
So how does this start at zero philosophy apply to someone who's not a Navy SEAL?
Right.
Or an ultra marathon runner? How can our listener tap into this mindset?
Goggins isn't just about setting records or external validation.
Okay.
It's about proving something to yourself.
Yeah.
And conquering your inner demons. We all have limitations that we set for ourselves.
Right.
And he's challenging us to break free from those.
So whether it's starting a new hobby,
Yeah.
going back to school, finally writing that book you've been thinking about,
Exactly.
it's about taking that first step
Yeah.
and committing to the journey.
That's it.
Okay, so it's about finding those areas where we've become complacent, right?
Yeah.
And pushing ourselves to grow.
Absolutely. Goggins' story also highlights the importance of service and finding something bigger than yourself to strive for. It's not just about personal achievement, right?
Right.
It's about using your strength and resilience
Yeah.
to make a positive impact on the world around you.
So how do we connect Goggins' experiences to our own lives, to the challenges that we face every day?
Yeah.
I mean, his story is inspiring, but it's
Yeah.
also pretty extreme,
Yeah, it is. But Goggins' journey shows us that we're all capable of achieving far more
Okay.
than we believe possible.
Okay.
You know, he's a living example of mind over matter.
Right.
But it's not just about like brute willpower.
Right.
It's about finding purpose and meaning in our struggles, no matter how big or small they may seem.
Right. He's teaching us to embrace discomfort, push past our perceived limitations, and discover this like reservoir of strength we never knew we had.
Totally. And he does this by being so open and vulnerable about his own journey.
Right. Right. It's not all sunshine and roses, right?
No, absolutely not. Goggins talks openly about his struggles,
Yeah.
his doubts, his failures.
Yeah.
He's not some like superhuman
Right.
who effortlessly conquers every challenge.
Yeah.
He's human just like us.
Yeah.
And he's made mistakes.
Yeah.
But he keeps going. You know, he keeps pushing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his message so powerful.
He's showing us that it's okay to struggle, to stumble, to fall flat on our faces sometimes.
Yeah.
The important thing is to get back up, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward, exactly.
We all have that cookie jar of potential he talks about.
We do.
We just have to be willing to dig deep and access it.
Exactly. And that leads us to, I think, one of the most compelling aspects of Goggins' story.
Okay.
His relationships.
Okay.
You know, he experienced incredible camaraderie and connection, but also really struggled to fit in at times.
That's right. His story isn't just this straightforward tale of triumph.
No.
It's messy.
Yeah.
It's complicated. And it really reflects the reality of human experience.
Really?
Like, we crave connection.
Yeah.
But sometimes our drive and our ambition,
Yeah.
it can create distance between ourselves and others.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act, isn't it?
It is. It is.
How do we pursue our goals without sacrificing those important relationships? You know?
Right.
It's a question we all grapple with.
Yeah, Goggins seems to be saying it's okay to struggle with that balance.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel like an outsider sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is that we keep striving to be better.
Yeah.
In all aspects of our lives.
He's not advocating for perfection.
Right.
He's advocating for growth.
Right. Embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey.
The ups and downs, and keep pushing forward.
Keep pushing forward. That's it.
And that's ultimately a message of hope.
Yeah.
You know, Goggins shows us that even in the face of incredible adversity, we have the power to change our lives, to rewrite our stories.
Totally.
And to create something truly extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. You know, it reminds me of that quote, from Teddy Roosevelt. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, Right. Whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's Goggins.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it.
He doesn't shy away from the fight.
No.
He embraces the challenges, the discomfort, the uncertainty, Yeah. And he comes out stronger on the other side.
Stronger, totally.
And that's what makes his story so inspiring,
Yeah.
It's not just about like being physically strong.
Right.
It's about building mental toughness.
Yeah.
Resilience. And finding, a purpose in our struggles.
Yeah, finding that meaning.
I think that's something we can all relate to, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Goggins really challenges us to confront our own limitations, to break through those barriers that we create for ourselves and discover our true potential.
His story's filled with these incredible feats of strength and endurance, but what really struck me was his willingness to be vulnerable,
Yeah, totally.
He talks openly about his struggles, his doubts, his failures.
Yeah, it makes him human.
It makes him human, exactly.
He's not this like untouchable figure.
Right, exactly.
That we can't relate to.
And that's what makes his message so powerful,
Absolutely.
He's saying it's okay to struggle, to stumble, to fall.
Yeah.
What matters is that you get back up, learn from it, and keep pushing forward.
Keep moving, keep going.
He keeps reminding us that we all have that cookie jar, right?
Cookie jar,
yeah.
Oh.
That reserve of untapped potential.
That's it.
We just have to be willing to dig deep and use it.
That's right.
It's like he's saying, look, if I can overcome a tough childhood,
right,
survive SEAL training, and run ultramarathons with a heart condition,
right,
you can definitely tackle those challenges that you've been putting off.
Exactly. It's a call to action.
Yeah.
He wants us to step out of our comfort zones.
Yeah.
embrace the struggle and build a life that is truly meaningful.
You know, Goggins leaves us with this powerful quote.
Oh, yeah.
We can always become stronger and more agile mentally and physically. We can always become more capable and more reliable. Since that's the case, we should never feel that our work is done. There is always more to do.
I love that.
Powerful stuff.
So good, yeah.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Yes, the question.
What area of your life could benefit from a start at zero approach?
Right.
What challenge have you been putting off that you could conquer if you embrace Goggins's mindset?
That's right. It's a question worth thinking about.
We all have those areas, you know, where we've gotten complacent, where fear or self-doubt holds us back.
Yeah.
Goggins's message is about breaking free from those limitations.
Yes,
you know, tapping into the power of our minds.
Yeah.
And creating a life that is extraordinary.
That's it.
He urges us to seek out challenges, to find discomfort and push through it.
That's where the growth is.
And if you're looking for more inspiration,
yeah,
I highly recommend checking out Goggins's book.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a raw and personal account of his journey, and it's packed with insights that can really change how you view your own potential.
You'll learn a lot.
So there you have it.
There you go.
A deep dive into the life of David Goggins.
One's toughest.
An extraordinary individual.
That's it.
Who shows us that we are all capable of much more than we think. It's time to find that inner strength, embrace the struggle, and build a life filled with purpose.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep pushing those limits, and remember, there's always more to do.